Oral, the honourable member for Toronto Centre.
Mr. Speaker, my question is for the government. Rather than blame the leader of the official opposition, rather than blame members of the UN General Assembly, instead of saying that a position on the Security Council is not important, when will the Conservative government take responsibility for this significant failure for Canada and for our worldwide reputation, Mr. Speaker? The Honourable Government House Leader.
At the outset, our government is very, very proud of the principled foreign policy positions that we've taken over the past 5 years. Our government makes foreign policy decisions based on what's right and not what's popular, and we have nothing to be apologetic about.
Honourable member for Toronto Centre.
Let's look at the facts. A significant refusal on the part of the government to even talk to the government of China over many years. A decision to exclude a number of African countries from being recipients of aid, and now freezing our entire CETA budget into the indefinite future. A complete abnegation of responsibility with respect to climate change. When will the government take responsibility for a major diplomatic failure on the part of Canada, Mr. Speaker?
Government House Leader.
You know, Mr. Speaker, right from the outset, the Prime Minister and this government have taken principled foreign policy decisions. We have nothing to apologize for. We're incredibly proud of the great leadership that the Prime Minister has exhibited, particularly in this year, where we were able to host both the G8 and the G20, Mr. Speaker. Again, we make foreign policy on this side of the House based on what's right and not what is popular.
The Honourable Member for Toronto Centre.
Mr. Speaker, since when was incompetence a matter of principle? That's what we're faced with. We're faced with sheer incompetence. And when you add to it ideology and you add to it neglect, that's what you have. It has nothing to do with principles. It has to do with incompetence. There's no finer example than what you've allowed to happen with the government of the United Arab Emirates. How could we have sunk so low in our diplomatic capacity that you would have allowed these negotiations to go completely off the rail, threatening, Mr. Speaker, our entire operation in Afghanistan? That's what we're faced with. It's incompetence. It has nothing to do with principle, Mr. Speaker.
House Leader.
Let me say this, Mr. Speaker, that it's not the practice of this government to comment on operational matters of the Canadian Forces here on the floor at the House of Commons. But let me say this. The government always chooses arrangements that are in the best interest of Canada and provides value to our men and women in uniform. This government has shown an unprecedented commitment to our men and women in uniform. And I can say to my friend from Toronto Centre, thank goodness the dark decade, the 10 lost years under the previous Liberal government is over. Thanks to the leadership of this minister.